Hey guys, Jnic here, and welcome to another Time tutorial series where we go through the maps 21 to 25, and I explain to you how to get the author times on those maps. But first of all, I want to say thank you to you guys for being so sweet and so kind in the comments of the videos and on Twitch. I really do appreciate all the support. I know I don't get thousands and thousands of views, but I do really appreciate all the kind words you guys are throwing at me, so thank you for that. Also, secondly, I will say that I'm making another author time tutorial series for the next campaign, so do stay tuned for that if you want to see that. I'm gonna make it a little bit earlier this time. Also remember that I have a streamer key that you guys can use if you want to race against me in the game or use some of my lines. That's always nice. And lastly, I want to say that I'm a little bit worried that this particular video is going to be underwhelming for you guys, because these maps are really hard, but they're also kind of self-explanatory. You're just going to have to drive well to get through the maps. It's kind of that easy. I will go through some of the important things, or things that I thought helped me get the author time, but also it's really about just trying the map. Like, no matter what I say, you're not going to get the map in 5 minutes just because you saw the video. You're going to have to practice it, right? With that being said though, let's just give it a go. Let's go into the video. Let's look at the first map. Okay. And welcome to map 21. Now let's just jump right into it. Now, as I've discussed earlier in the video, I'm not gonna say that much about the track since there's not actually that much to say. But we can start off right here. Here I jump and my car is turning or rotating to the left. So I do a counter steer to the right to stop the rotation. You can do that yourself. It's just to adjust the line in which I'm landing in. Then I do a drift here so we can jump over to the next part of the sausage road. That drift is a little hard to get. You're just gonna have to practice it. It's not really that consistent in the beginning. You get more consistent at it, but it is hard. Now we jump over to the next part of the sausage and another right drift. Now all of this is kind of self-explanatory. There's not much to say. Now here I initiate another drift to go tight, and then I jump over to the next part of the sausage. And then we come up here. You can see up here, right about here is when I start initiating a drift. You can see there I'm drifting, I'm holding down both accelerate, brake, and turning to the right. I do this so I land in a drift over here, and thus I can full speed this part. Now I choose not to do it here, but it's fine. If you land with a good angle, you can full speed that turn, and it's gonna preserve speed for the rest of the map. Now here I go for a wide line on the dirt, again to preserve that speed. And then we're basically just a few turns away from hitting the finish. So we have one turn here. I don't execute that too well. You can go way tighter and you can full speed that. And then a turn to the left. And then one last turn here. Now I didn't execute this turn either that well. It just goes to show how much leeway you have. Then a jump up to the dirt bank. And you're finished. Let's watch it all back in regular speed here. So we do a jump, rotate, counter steer. Then we do a drift, inside line, go for the jump. Another turn, jump over to the next part of the sausage. Then we do a right drift, a left drift, jump over to the next part of the sausage. Then I initiate a drift early up here to get a good angle. Then you jump over to the dirt, go for a wide line on the dirt. And just a few more turns and you're in it. Now here, I do want to say that you can either go for a jump into a drift, or you can just initiate your own drift. Either way it's gonna work. It's all good. Jump up to the grass bank and we're finished. On to the next one. So welcome to map 22. Let's just jump right into it. I start with a turn to the right and try to look at the inputs here. I really don't touch the inputs too much here on the ice. Let's just start it again. You can see I'm not really tapping or driving to the right or the left. I'm only tapping to adjust the line. And then here you want to enter with a full left turn. And the reason you want to do that is because you want your car to be turned 90 degrees by the time you pass this corner. Because then you're going to do this bug slide thing, and it's going to turn your car very aggressively. Now, please notice the speed. You can see I exit this dirt turn with around 130 speed. You can exit it with a pretty large variety of speeds. Just make sure that if you are about to gear up, then you didn't do it while you're driving straight, right? Okay. Or at least try to, because it's going to save you time. Now, of course, try to go in these dirt turns with the smallest angle as possible to preserve your speed. And here we also go for a wide line up in this turn. I do release a little bit because it is possible to do this turn full speed, but releasing a bit is fine. It's honestly okay. Then the reason I go up on the right side here and touch the banked side of the bobsleigh is because it pushes me towards the middle of the track, and thus I don't really have to adjust my line that much. But it's fine, whatever you do, it's gonna be okay. The thing is, you have kind of a lot of leeway to work with in this map, because a lot of it is gonna be in the ending. Now we go into another loop. Now remember, on dirt, once you're over third gear, you can speed drift. Just keep this in mind when you're driving, okay? Like, speed drift where you're able to. Now I go pretty tight inside here. That's gonna be okay. So up here, you wanna go for an inside line. You wanna go like this direction, where you're aiming towards the bottom part of the slope. Because if you go too far up, you're gonna lose a bunch of speed. And now down here, I wish there was a quick and easy, like, honest cheat that I can just tell you this is how it goes. You're just gonna have to get a feel for this part of the map. You can kind of look at my inputs. If we look at the inputs at even slower, you can see here I land, and there's pretty far up towards, there's a pretty long way up towards the CP, right? But already here, you can see that I'm turning to the right, pretty far away from the CP. And then I turn to the left already here to counter steer. And I do this because, I mean, I've gotten used to eyes by now, right? But you'll start to get an angle, and you're gonna be able to see whether or not that angle is good pretty early. And if it's not good, you can tap the brake and you can make the angle better, or you can release your accelerator and make the angle better. I just feel like doing that turn from a wider angle preserves more speed, and you have more time to react, okay? So let's just watch it at half speed again. Okay, so let's go back. So I'm driving towards the CP. Already here, I start turning, and then I counter steer. I see that I have a good line, so I don't do too many adjustments. You can see right here, I realize I have to turn the car to be able to face forward during the boosters. So I release the accelerator, as you can see, so that my car is able to turn, and then I just drive into the finish, okay? By far, the last part of the map is going to be one of the most important parts, okay? Let's see it in regular speed. We don't do too many adjustments. 90-degree turn right there. Gear up while you're driving straight. And then try to have small angles for when you drift on the dirt so you don't lose too much speed. I do a small release here into the turn, still going wide to preserve the speed. Try to get a good angle into the bobsleigh so you don't have to steer too much. And we have a dirt loop. It's just a dirt loop. I go pretty low here, and I go for an inside line and another inside line, trying to drop down pretty low there. And then I do an early turn right here, and then a counter steer. I release to adjust the line, and then I drive into the finish. It is gonna take a little bit to get used to, but I'm sure you guys can do it. It's just about grinding it out, and on to the next one. Okay, so welcome to map 23. Let's just jump right into it. Now, again, there's not like a bunch of things to say about this map, but I'll try my best to just basically run through the entire map. Now, this first turn, you don't want to drift. Just drive close to the wall and full speed it. Oh, also, quick extra thing. The plugin to show you guys the inputs broke, and I can't get it to work. I tried everything, so the next couple of maps are not going to have the plugin. I'm sorry. Okay, then you want to go for a drift here. Now, the most important thing about this map is that you obviously want to drift as little as possible, because you get more speed if you don't drift that much. But with that being said, the less you drift, the higher the chance that you're probably going to bonk. So, you know, just try your best to get used to the drifting. This might, if you're not totally used to drifting, this might not be the best map to practice it. But yeah, so I go tight to the wall and a jump. Now this turn up here, you can do full speed if you go tight to those pillars over here, right? So you just land, and then you start turning immediately, and you can go full speed. Don't let go of the acceleration and just drive around there. You have to do a slight left turn when you jump here, otherwise you're gonna hit that wall. So you land in a small drift. Then around here I start drifting again. I do two drifts. The first drift is to get around the first corner, and the second drift is to line my car to go close to this corner. Again, the speed that you're gonna get out of that turn is gonna vary widely depending on how good of a drift you did. Okay, so you can try multiple times. You can try resetting from the CP to try to go for different drift approaches, see what works best for you. Now this is just a wall ride. Easy. Now for this turn up here, you can go really wide, and then you can start drifting early. Now, again, the amount of speed you get out of this turn varies widely depending on how much you drift. So you're just gonna have to do it multiple times. You can try to follow the line that I'm going for here. It's not the best line in the world, but it was enough for a decent time here. So you can see I'm on the right side of the road. I initiate the drift, I go close to this corner, and then I try to avoid any airtime. Going in between these pillars. So you want to go directly in between them and then completely avoid airtime. When all this is definitely full speed, you don't have to release to do these turns. Okay, you do the looping and you jump in between these two pillars. This turn right here is also full speed. You don't want to release. Now, I do want to just disclaimer. I say that you don't want to release. You can still get the auto time if you release. It's fine. But you don't have to release is what I'm saying. Okay, and then it's basically just a straight line into the finish. Try not to bonk the finish line. Try not to boink the finish line. What am I on, dude? Okay. Let's do it full speed again. Full speed left turn. Land in a little bit of a drift here. Drift as little as possible. Go close to the corners. This is a full speed right turn. Jump to the left. Land in a drift. Then do two separate drifts to line up for this turn. Then it's just up to the wall ride. Very easy. The turn after the wall ride, you want to go a little wide. Try to avoid any airtime after the drift here. Nice. Full speed, full speed, full speed. Avoid the pillars. Again, full speed. You don't have to let go of the accelerator. Another wall ride, and then it's just a little jump into the finish. Nice and easy. Next map. Okay, so welcome to map 24. Let's just jump right into it. Now again, there's not a lot to say, but I'll point out the things that I want to. Okay, so here you can go to the right of the tree, or you can just go straight. Okay, I choose to go straight. It's just safer. But you can go to the right of the tree. It's gonna save you, I don't know, 0.1 or something. It's not necessary though. Land in a drift. Go decently tight. Don't lose too much speed though. The more you drift, the more speed you lose. You can go for a slight SD when you land. Be sure you don't hit the... So if you have enough speed, you can hit the roof up here. Just make sure you don't hit the roof. I usually do a slight release right before the jump. But if you're not used to hitting the roof, just go full speed. It's fine. Here you do a small release of your accelerator, and then you drive close to this wall. So I release my accelerator. Well, you can hear when I do it, okay? There, I released for like 0.3 seconds. I drive close, try to maintain as much speed as possible. Then jump up here. If you have a decent amount of speed, you have to release before you drive here. Just a slight release, otherwise you're gonna fly into the CP. Okay, and here for this jump, I usually choose to drive straight. So you can see my car is driving straight out. So don't start turning before this jump. I know some people do it, but for the other time it's not necessary, because it's just easier to control your car, especially the landing, if you don't turn before going off that platform. Okay. So you just do the turn. You can go tight. You can go a little wide. It's fine. So here you land in a drift, and you can go either in between these two trees, or totally outside. Now the fastest you can do is between the trees, but going outside for the purposes of the video is fine, or going outside for the purposes of author timing is also fine. Like it's more than enough, okay? So just weave in between the trees. I do a small drift here, and then a right drift up here. You're gonna see I start turning before the turn is happening, but even as the turn starts, I am braking to drift even more, trying to get a good line. Make sure you don't hit any trees again. Now, a lot of this map is just remembering where to go and making sure you get the lines for it. Again, it's just practicing this map. I'm going a little wide. I'm doing this full speed, by the way. I'm going wide, and then I'm trying to jump in between these two corners. So, like, I aim to jump between the two corners. And then it's basically just a wall ride and a straight line into the finish. But there is one small trick that I can show you guys before the finish, though. So we do a wall ride and we land. Okay, so for this jump, there is a little trick where you can air brake right as you exit this platform. As you can see, I do here. I hold down the brake button. My car is not rotating, and then right before I hit the platform, like around here, I release the brake button. Now, today literally today, there's been a new update for Trackmania that might fix this. So I don't know if it's fixed, but give it a go. See if you can get it to work. Okay. If you get enough speed from that boost, you have to release, because otherwise you're gonna overshoot the finish. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work anymore. Okay, so let's watch it in full speed, or in regular speed here, in real time. So just drive straight, jump to the left here. Let's go. Then drift, land in a drift, go decently tight. Make sure you don't lose too much speed. Make sure you don't hit the roof over here. Try to release a little bit before the jump if you're afraid that you have too much speed. Then you do a small release. Don't drift this turn, just small release, and then drive to the right. Make sure you keep enough speed. Jump over here, a small release here so you don't fly into the CP unless you don't have enough speed already. Then I drive straight out the platform. Land in a drift here. You can go decently tight. You can also go a little wide. It's fine. Then there's 3 different lines you can go for here. They're all fine. I choose to go the outside line, weave in between the trees. A drift and another drift. Hold down the drift here. Now for this turn, we go wide, full speed, and then jump in between the corners. Nice. Then it's just a wall ride and a straight ride into the finish, and that's gonna be it, dude. Try to see if you can get that booster trick to work. If you can't, that's unfortunate. They fixed that. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, and welcome to the last map in the entire campaign. We're talking map 25. Now this map is pretty hard because it's long. It's long and hard. Don't make a joke. And you're just gonna have to practice it. Like all of the other like ending maps, like 23, 24, you're just gonna have to practice them a lot. So there's not a lot that I can go through during the map, but the small things that I can go through, I will show you. Try to preserve speed. Make sure you don't hit anything. It's so self-explanatory, right? The first thing comes down here. This is probably the first part where I'm actually gonna give you any hints. Here, I release before the jump, and then I land in a drift. if you land in too tight of a drift, you're not gonna have enough speed. If you land too wide in a drift, you're also gonna be losing speed like that. But try to go a little tight without going too tight. You can always reset at the previous CP, and you can keep trying that drift multiple times until you find a line that suits you. Okay, here I do a small air brake, and I do another air brake for the next jump here, and you land in a drift. Now, this turn right here, you really want as little airtime as possible. It's very hard to do. Now, there's two lines you can go for here. So I go for a small airtime, and then I drive to the left and I jump up to this booster. I want to really, you know, make you guys aware that that's not necessary. Okay, so look at the line that I'm going for here. I'm driving down and then I'm jumping up to the booster, okay? And then I'm driving the rest of the track. Now this line, you can practice and you can do, and it's gonna save you like a second, not lying. But it's not necessary. If you just want the author medal and you think this line is too hard, I just wanted to showcase this line, right? If you think the line is too hard, just go for a line up to the right here, and just jump from this section over to the next platform. It's fine. Honestly, you can still get author medal. This jump is just gonna make it a lot easier if you get the jump, okay? So I do get this jump, and if you get that jump and you land on the booster, then right around when you reach this platform or when you reach the shadows, you wanna press the brake button for like half a second and then jump over here, okay? And land in a small drift. But honestly, let's look at it again. It's really not necessary. What you can do is you can just drive to the right here and then get no airtime and just jump over to the next platform. It's honestly fine, and just jump straight over the booster. It's okay. Honestly, it's okay. All right. So from here, you want to jump down to this part of the road, so you skip the turn. And you can do this turn full speed again. If you just go really tight, you don't have to release your accelerator. I released my accelerator there a little bit, also just to show it's not necessary to full speed it, but you can full speed it. But you can also release the accelerator a little bit if you feel like you're worried about hitting that wall, hitting that outer wall. Now, here, this is a fragile block, and it makes these jumps super annoying. Now, I don't know if you heard it, but I actually released a little bit up towards these jumps. And what I found to work most consistently for me here is I do an air brake. I just jump regularly, do an air brake here, and then I turn to the right a little bit. I turn to the right a little bit so you can see my car. Oh, it's so hard to see. But my car is kind of facing this wall, just a little bit. And I've found that to work. So if my car is facing that wall, I can full steer the other direction and it just seems to work better, okay? It's so annoying that I don't have the inputs to show you guys. But I release a little bit up to this jump, then just a quick air brake. I turn a little bit to the right, I land, a quick air brake again, and then I drive to the left, okay? So honestly, just reset at this CP and try what I just said multiple times, okay? Don't try to, well, that's honestly a kind of a big tip that I can give you guys for maps like this. Reset at the CPs multiple times so you get each of the sections of the map down. Don't try to hunt the map from start to finish from the beginning. Honestly, try to reset at the CPs, get the lines for each CP, and then when you're comfortable with all the CPs, try to go for the entire track. Now, there's not a lot to say here. This jump right here, you can land in a drift, which I actually suggest. I'm not landing in a drift here, which means that I have to start drifting when I land and I go for a wide line. Land in a drift, it's faster. Try to avoid airtime on this downhill and then jump, and hopefully you're not gonna jump out the map here. You're just gonna have to drive straight into the finish, okay? So we can watch the entire map once again. Okay. So just a jump and a left turn. I can't really say much about this. Okay, so here, go for a decently tight line, but also make sure you go wide enough so you preserve the speed. Also, you can see this really quick. I neglected to mention this. I jump and I turn to the left, right? So my car is gonna rotate I turn to the right, and my car is gonna rotate to the right. Immediately after I jump, I actually counter steer in the air, so the car doesn't turn as much. Okay, remember to utilize counter steering and stuff in your just everyday gameplay to adjust your lines while you're in the air. Okay, we go for a tight line, try to avoid airtime. I go for the line down here, jump up to the booster. Of course, remember, you don't have to do this line if you're not comfortable with it, but it is gonna save you like a second. Then we jump over to this section. A left turn, you don't have to release, but a small release is fine. Okay, full speed this turn as well. And then you do a small releases up to this turn. Air brake, and then a left turn. And then basically, well, you want to land in a drift up here. I don't land in a drift here. You want to land in a drift here, go a little tighter than I just did. Then no airtime on this downhill, and then make sure you don't crash on the last, staircase right here. And that's all there is for map 25. Again, guys, honestly, reset at the CPs. Reset at the CPs you have a hard time at, and keep resetting at them until you get used to some good lines for each CP, and then try to stitch all those CPs together for a full run at the ending. But that's pretty much all. Thank you guys for all the support for the Author Time tutorial series. I will make a new one when the new campaign comes out in 20 days? But other than that, thank you guys for watching, thank you guys for liking and commenting and everything like that, and I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye!